Hey everybody, and welcome to the Tora Jordan Show. I am your host, Tora Jordan, and welcome to my channel. If you're a new viewer, if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Today I'm going to share my recipe for Mexican stuffed peppers. So come along. Alrighty, first step. I am using ground deer, which is extremely lean. So I got about a tablespoon of bacon grease that I had done what my grandma said, what my mama said, saved my bacon grease from when I made bacon. Yesterday, I discovered that Walmart now sells bacon grease. I'm just like, okay, I'll just save my money and save my bacon grease and do it myself. Alrighty, I went ahead and put my ground venison or ground deer meat in my skillet. I put a little bit of water in with it just to kind of help defrost it and also so it doesn't stick to my pan. I'm going to put the lid on it, and I have it set on about between 3 and 4. There we go. Now it'll focus about 3 and 4. And I just got it set here, and I'm just going to let it defrost itself, and then once it gets cooking and everything, I'll start adding in my spices. Alrighty. Next up, we're going to start prepping our peppers. So, these are the poblano peppers that I picked up yesterday. I've got 4 of them. I've got them washed off and everything. And what we're going to do is we're going to find the spot where they lay flat. They are kind of a weird cone shape, if you can see. See that? See, this one's kind of got a flat side on this side. So what we're going to do is lay that there, and then we're going to cut it along the edge, along this top side, take out the stem and the seeds and the ribs. And then, after I get done cutting them up, we're going to partially bake them in my cast iron skillet. Now, fun fact about cast iron, I learned this a long time ago from my mama, and then my gynecologist is actually the one that confirmed it. Cooking in cast iron skillets is actually really healthy for those that are anemic. Well, you might go, Tora, what's anemic? I don't know what that is. That means that you have low iron count. Because when you cook in cast iron, some of the iron molecules end up fusing into your food. And then you end up eating that food and ingesting it. So, you're getting a small dose of iron in your body from the cast iron. Now, I could cook this one of 2 ways. I could either put it in my oven, or I could put it out on the smoker. Well, today I'm going to put it in the oven. Not that it wouldn't be delicious out there on the smoker and get some good smoky flavor in it. But I want to show you guys this easy recipe to be able to cook it at your own house. So I'm going to quickly core out my poblano peppers while my venison here is going, while my ground deer meat's cooking down. That way I can go ahead and get my oven preheated and get these partially baked, and then I'll jump back on here in just a second. Alright, so I remembered from the last time I made these, when I removed the tip, the stem end off the end of the poblano peppers, all my stuffing fell out. So I decided to leave the stems on. Googled to make sure that that was okay, and it is. It just, kind of a stopper there. Right now, I've got a bag of steamable cauliflower in the microwave going. You can buy riced cauliflower, but it is a little more expensive. So I paid 98 cents for cauliflower, and then I'll just smush it up by hand. And it will go in with my ground deer that's cooking up right now. So, and here is a pro tip. Before you turn your oven on, double check and make sure you don't have anything in it. I store my cast iron skillets in the bottom of my oven, and on more than one occasion I have forgot about having cast iron skillets in the oven and turned it on, and had had some smoke going on in my house, and I was like, oh man, I forgot the cast iron skillets. Then you got hot cast iron skillets, and you have nowhere to sit them. So remember to check the oven before you turn it on. Right now, I'm at a hurry up and wait game point in this game. I'm waiting for the oven to preheat, for my venison to get done, and then I'm also waiting for the cauliflower. So I've got 3 things that go in at once. So I'll see you in a little bit. Alrighty, so my cauliflower is all done being steamed up in the microwave, and I've got it sitting over, I know this seems weird, 2 strainers. The white strainer I used for cleaning the peppers, but I wanted to use a very fine mesh wire strainer for the cauliflower, and the reason being, when it drips down, I don't want a lot of water being added to my ground deer. So I'm going to let it drain what little excess water is in there, and then when it's time to smush it, I can just put this over the top of my venison pot and smush it through the strainer, and guess what? Ta-da! Riced cauliflower. Alrighty, so when my deer is about, I'd say 75% cooked. I mean, it's still, it's not servable yet. It's still really rare. I mean, that's still really rare. I'm going to go ahead and start adding my spices. So the first one I'm going to throw in is my minced onion. You might go, how much is it? Putting in a capful. We like a lot of flavor in this household, so we're adding by the capfuls. Next is garlic powder. We like garlic. Just sprinkle that in there. And then I'm going to add some black pepper. And I'm going to be adding other peppers, but it still needs that black pepper added in there. And then my last dry spice that I'm going to add in right now is my kosher salt. Now with kosher salt, it's a little saltier in taste than what normal table salt is. So I'm going to put about a teaspoon to start, and then once my deer ends up cooking all the way and being totally brown and totally cooked, then what I'll do is I will taste it and adjust from there. I may need to add a little more salt. I may need to add a little more pepper. I may need to add a little more garlic, or I may need to add some more onion. I don't know yet. This is just straight ground deer. Okay, there is no additives, no preservatives, nothing in here except straight ground deer. So it's going to need to take some extra flavor. It's going to need that little extra oomph of flavoring. So you may have been shocked when I threw a whole teaspoon of salt in a pot, but here's the thing. It doesn't have the added preservatives that they add to like ground beef and stuff that you may be getting at your local grocery store for those preservatives. So it's going to need the extra oomph behind it. Alrighty, since that's all stirred up together, I'm going to go ahead and throw my lid on it and let it finish out cooking. My peppers are currently in the oven, partially baking for the 10 minutes. And I've got about 3 more minutes on the timer. And I'll set them up here on my stovetop. And then we'll get ready to go from there. Alrighty, so my deer has cooked up. I tasted it. It does not need any extra. Or at least I don't think it does. I don't like a lot of salt, a lot of salty taste in my food, but I do like using the kosher salt because it gives that added punch of saltiness without being so much sodium. Now, there is still quite a bit of liquid from where I added the water and from where this is defrosted itself. So, I mean, it's still a little soupy, and we want to let that steam out. My oven, or my peppers are not in the oven anymore. They're over here waiting to be stuffed. So we're going to let this cook out, the wet, all that extra juiciness. I mean, you don't want it bone dry. You don't want that, but you don't want it to be just liquid soup. Alrighty, so we're going to let that steam out for a little bit, and then I will attempt to show you how to rice cauliflower through a sieve, through a strainer, one-handed. I don't know if that's going to work. I may just have to do it and then explain the process if you want to know. If you don't, that's fine. But let this steam out. Let that get all that water cooked out of it. Alrighty, so I went ahead and got my cauliflower all riced up. And then you might be wondering what this is. That is some peppers that were in a chipotle sauce. I bought them at Walmart a long time ago, and I had them in a little container. I think the carb count on them was less than 1, so I counted it as a 0. When I'm trying to figure out about how much carb counting this would be. Now, you remember my diced green chilies? They go in. Now, these were 1 gram for 1 serving, which there's 4 in here, which I'm not going to end up eating this entire pot myself. Josh will help me with that. And so I'm going to go ahead and get all this goodness stirred in, and then I will find out if I need to add anything else to add the flavor. Now, if you like it hotter, then add jalapenos, add habaneros, add ghost peppers if you're that brave. Add a Carolina Reaper if you really want a good time. If you're into that sort of thing, I'm not. I like flavor. I like spicy stuff to an extent, but I don't want to melt my face off. So I'm going to go ahead and get this all stirred up, and then I will start stuffing my peppers, and we will slide those in the oven and let them get baking off. Alrighty, so I went ahead and got my peppers stuffed because I am not talented enough to do that one-handed, and I didn't want to have half of it end up in the floor. So I want to show you about how much I've got left over. I mean, in reference to my spoon here. I mean, that's quite a bit. So, y'all might be wondering, what am I going to do with this? Well, this will not survive tonight. I can already guarantee you that. Josh is going to be a hungry, hungry man when he comes home. Most men are, if they're out doing hard work and stuff like that. So, I'll put this in a little container, and I'll put it in the refrigerator, and I'll send it with Josh to work tomorrow. And he can heat that up and put that over the top of some pork rinds with some shredded cheese. And then he's got some delicious nachos for lunch that are going to be just low carb. Maybe 1 carb. You know, that's if the secretary from his work, Sandy, doesn't decide that she needs to have a small sampling of it. Which, if she does, that's all right. She can brag about, you know, how good this tastes. So, alrighty, I'm going to slide this in my 350-degree oven and bake it off for about 20 minutes or until these peppers get real soft. Okay? And when they get soft, then I'll put some cheese over the top of them, slide them back and turn my oven off, and then I will wait till Josh gets home, and we will have dinner. It'll be ready when he walks in the door. So, I'll see you in about 20 minutes or so, and we'll check on these peppers, make sure they're good and soft, and when they're good and soft, then I'll top them with cheese, turn my oven off, and slide them back in. Alright, see you in a little bit. Alrighty, so my peppers got done. I had to add about 5 more minutes onto the timer, and I took some of my block cheddar cheese, shredded that up with my microplaner, and I just sprinkled it on top. And I went ahead and turned my oven off. And Josh will be home in about 30 minutes. So by the time he gets home, this cheese will be nice and gooey and everything. And these will, you know, be perfect. They'll just be perfect. I bought some sour cream, a little dab on top. And we got a good dinner. Alrighty. Now for Josh to get home. Alrighty, guys. So that was a pretty easy recipe. It took me a lot longer than I normally do it because, you know, I was filming and showing you guys how to do it, which that doesn't bother me at all. Alrighty, wanted to jump on here real quick and tell you I did the calculations, and it's 5 net carbs per pepper, okay? And those peppers are going to be full of flavor. And with the way Josh and I, you know, how we eat through the day, we have plenty of leftover net carbs that we can use on dinner. So my dinners may not necessarily fit into your particular plan, but they fit into Josh and I's, okay? And if you're just doing low carb, you know, that may be something that really works for you. It might be something that you want to do, you know, on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. So there's that. I read a couple recipes, you know, just doing some other research and just, you know, seeing what was out there. There are some recipes out there that say that they use like taco seasoning packets as their flavor and as their spices, which that's fine. You know, that's fine. If that's something that works for you, if that's something that, you know, you don't like all the flavor of a taco seasoning, then you can do it the way that I do it. And that's fine. If you don't like that, then that's fine too. You know, difference, not bad. Difference, just different. So anyway, wanted to jump on here real quick, finish out the video. You know, I want you guys to know that I do care for you. I care for you. Alrighty? You are not alone. No matter what is going on, you are not alone. Alrighty? And that means for, you know, keto and low carb journeying or just in life in general. Alrighty? And you are beautiful or handsome. Okay? You're beautiful. We need to be kind to ourselves. Be kind to yourselves. We only get one lifetime in this body. And we need to be kind to ourselves. We need to be, you know, we need to love ourselves. Okay? Love yourself. Sometimes that's hard to do. Okay? And I'll admit it that sometimes it's really hard to love Tora Jordan. But guess what? I choose to. Okay? And come here real close. I got to tell you something. Okay? Are you real close? Love yins!